What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to another video on the Unguardable Podcast, man. As y'all see, it's me and my lonely. As y'all know, man, we getting it done anyways, man. I apologize for the late recap, but we gotta lock in and get to it, man. So let's go. So this week we got NBA Week 7 recap. Let's get to it. We got a lot to get to, but not a lot. I got a few things to talk about with you guys. So as y'all know, in the top left-hand corner, starting with there, we got Josh Giddey and the Bulls pulling off a W this past week versus the Brooklyn Nets. Josh Giddey was out there hooping. He dropped a nice little triple double. That was pretty good, man. I'm happy to see Josh Giddey hooping over there with a new team. He did play very well with the Oklahoma City Thunder, but it's good to see him over there in a new environment, still playing basketball very well at a high level. Keep it going. And then the Utah Jazz, my fault. The fucking Dallas Mavericks was able to pull off the dub against the Memphis Grizzlies in group play. And that ended up advancing them into the knockout round to play. I believe it was the Oklahoma City Thunder, who they ended up playing yesterday night. As I'm recording this today, y'all, it's Wednesday. So they ended up advancing to play them. We'll get to that on next week's episode. But shout out to the Dallas Mavericks. Them boys is out there hooping. Luka dropping 37 and 12. Hey, man, he's doing pretty well, man. And then Scotty Barnes, he been playing very, very well as well. He suffered an injury not too long ago, as I believe. So prayers up to him. Hopefully Scotty gets well soon. But as y'all see, he was hoping versus the Indiana Pacers. Same with Tyler Hero, man. He slept on. Yet last year, he played really well. And a lot of people forgot about him because he ended up getting hurt. But he played really well last year as well. But he was hooping versus the Lakers the other night, man. He dropped 9 3-pointers, man. That boy was out there stroking that thing, man, on them boys. Same with Cat, man. That boy was been playing very well in New York. Call him Big Cat now. He was a little kitty in Minnesota, but now he a big cat, big purr. I guess that's his nickname, chat. Big Purr. I don't know, man. I ain't calling that nigga that. I'm just gonna call him Cat. But he's been playing very well in New York. I just saw an interview not too long ago. He was saying that he was a little kid in Minnesota, but now he feels like he's a grown man. He's matured. He's learning more. So that's good for Karl Anthony Towns, man. I'm glad he's playing better over there in New York and feeling good. Same with the trade asset on the other side. As you see, Julius Randle, they was able to pull off the dub versus the Clippers ever since Anthony Edwards said, "Hey man, y'all niggas around here soft, playing soft." He been getting on these dudes. They've been hooping, man. They've been playing very well. And so as you see, they got the dub, and Julius Randle, the new trade acquired asset that, as you see, Karl Anthony Towns was traded for. He's been hooping over there as well, so they've been playing very well. So shout out to the Timberwolves for keeping it up. As you see on the right hand side of the screen, they beat us, unfortunately. As you see, Anthony Edwards fucking thinking he was all him, coming into our arena whooping our ass. Fucking Anthony Edwards with that one, bruh. But then we had to get our get back. As you see, we ended up beating them right next to it. Curry came back and got that W. Draymond ended up hitting the night-night in that game. The hard-ass night-night, y'all. That shit was hilarious, man. Running down full court, hitting the night-night. That shit was inspirational, sensational. But those were the later games during the week, Sunday, and I believe the other game was on Friday. Earlier in the week, we had to play against the Nuggets. They were able to pull off the dub. Even though Jokic didn't have no Jamal Murray, he still got it done, bro. He was just busting our ass, bro. But we still got it done versus the Houston Rockets, who we got to play tonight. As the day I'm recording this, y'all, we got to play the Rockets tonight in group play so we can advance and go to Vegas. But we got the dub versus them earlier in the week with Kuminga showing out. We had no Curry, no Curry and no Draymond. All we had was Andrew Wiggins and Kuminga, and Kuminga showed out, had a career high 33 points. So hopefully tonight we can have another good night with these boys, and we'll see. JP and the boys was able to pull off the dub versus the Nuggets, which is unreal because we lost to the Nuggets, and then the Washington Wizards, the team that hasn't won a game the whole month of November, lost like 13, 14, however many straight games. I think it was like 17 possibly straight games. They finally cracked it and beat the Denver Nuggets. And Jokic ended up going off in that game as well. As you see, he had 56 points that game. That man went off. He was hooping. He was like, man, I don't want to lose to the Wizards, bro. And JP said, nah. You gonna lose to us, boy. Shout out to JP. That's my dog, man. We miss him over here on the Warriors, man. If we still had JP right now, we would probably be floating pretty good, bro, because he would be somebody that could help us with scoring. But he had a nice little 30, I believe it was like 35 piece, and he ended up hitting 9 3-pointers, his career high. Choking that thing, man. Shout out to JP. Cade Cunningham. They just keep winning, y'all. The Pistons, man. He dropped him another triple double, man. Cade Cunningham, man. Shout out to the Pistons. They out here hooping, putting in that work, getting buckets. We got to give our shout outs as in the middle, as y'all already know. Those are our shout outs to the top players of the week. I already mentioned Jokic with the 56, but Trae Young, he's out here doing work, man. Last week he ended up having like a 20 and 22 game, and he was in the middle. He's back in the middle again with a 31 and 20 games. Like, what is Trae Young, bro? Like, I love Trae Young. He's a hooper. But I think he just needs to get out of Atlanta. I ain't gonna lie, because ATL is not gonna be the place for him. Like, and I don't know, maybe call this a hot take, y'all, but maybe Trae Young probably better off as a second option, you know? Like, not necessarily saying like he's not a franchise player. Like, he can, those numbers are doing good for him. Maybe if he had some better pieces around him, they probably would do something. But like, imagine if Trae Young was playing with like Lamelo Ball or something like that, y'all. Like, what y'all think about that? Trae Young and Lamelo. Like, Lamelo's a passive person, and then he could be able to Lamelo, and they both shoot threes, so they'll be able to stretch the floor out. Like, okay, that would be a crazy backcourt. Evan Mobley, shout out to him. He had him a hell of a game this past week with 41 and 6 threes. He was out there hooping, man. The Cavs just keep proving people why they're the number 1 seed. But I still think the Boston Celtics are the number 1 team in the league right now. I'm not even gonna lie. But as a whole, complete healthy team. But the Cleveland Cavaliers are still hooping, still getting up there and getting buckets, man. We have to send our prayers to these 3 players that are currently on the injury watch list that I just recently found out about. Wagner, he has a torn oblique. Brandon Ingram, I have him on my fantasy team, so it's kind of depressing to see him out again. He's out for a little extended period of time, and same with Kevin Durant with an ankle sprain. So hopefully these 3 dudes get better, get healthy very soon, because we want to see all of our superstar players on the court, see the high level of basketball. We don't want to see all of the hurt players out there, man. There's a lot of injuries going on, so hopefully those 3 guys get healthy, as well as anybody to basketball fantasy. As y'all see right above me, I was able to get the dub last week versus my boy Will. He unfortunately had some players that were hurt, and he didn't make some subs, so he didn't really necessarily stand a chance as far as scoring wise, because his players are hurt, and then sometimes he just doesn't sub in players. But as y'all see, I was able to get the dub against him this past week, so shout out to Booker and Miles Turner and Pascal. The Indiana players out there hooping, man. They've been putting in that work. And same with Jonathan Kuminga. I picked him up ended up picking him up because I saw he was we had no Curry and no Draymond, and I had Draymond on my team, and I was like, man, I can't have no points versus that used the game, so I ended up picking up Kuminga and dropping somebody else, and I was like, man, I needed that, and Kuminga been out there hooping, man, so he's locked in, staying on my team. Right now, I only got 2 Warriors on the fantasy team with Draymond and him, so I need to have some dubs on my team, man. I can't have no dubs, bro. Like, none is crazy, bro. But then top players of the week was Jokic on Cam's team, Luka Doncic on my boy Cade, and as well as Giannis Greek Freak with 195. That was on my boy Dre's team, and then Cam had top scorer of the week, and then Will was the lowest scoring of the week because, like I told y'all, he has injured players and people not subbing in and shit like that. So yeah, first things first, we're gonna hit all of these NBA stats and things like that, and then I want to talk about the WNBA. So very first thing, shout out to Scotty Barnes, man. Like I mentioned earlier, y'all saw Scotty was hooping versus the I believe it was, I don't remember what team it was. I think it was the Lakers, or I forgot what team. But anyways, Scotty Barnes has been hooping. Let's just give him praise because he's been playing very well. I know he just got hurt recently, so I hope he gets back onto the court. But as y'all see, before he had the goggles, I'm a goggle boy, chat. So if y'all don't know, I wear prescriptive contacts because I can't see without them. Literally blind, legally blind without them. When I was a kid, before I used to wear contacts, I used to wear goggles. When I played basketball, at least. Before, outside of basketball, I wore just regular glasses like anybody else would. But I wore goggles on the court. And man, I gotta show I gotta show love to the man Scotty Barnes, man. You see, pre-goggle, when you have the goggles, it gives you superpowers. It honestly gives you, like, some people say that when people hoop with goggles on and just, your glasses on, negative aura, you don't look good, this and that, it looks horrible. But for certain people, it gives you powers. It gives you plus 25 million attributes. And for people like myself and Scotty Barnes, once you put the goggles on, it just does something to you, because everybody looks at you and just says you're trash, and it makes you underrated. So then you just unleash that beast, unleash that, like, you gotta prove something. And so as you see previously, he averaged 19 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists per game. Put the superpower goggles on, plus 10 million attributes, 100 million aura. He averaging 24, 9 rebounds, 8 assists. Come on, bruh. Hooping. Shout out Scotty, man. As you see, Chris Paul, old head Chris Paul. He's been in the league for a minute. We honestly he deserves his flowers. People don't recognize him enough. But he now has moved second all-time in assists, man. Throwing them dimes. He got Wemby on that team. He got a bunch of young players out there to show him how to play the game right. And you even see Wembanyama and the screenshot in the back. So shout out to Chris Paul for the longevity of his career and just, playing very well. John Stockton got 15,000 assists, which is insane. Nobody's touching that, which is crazy to think. Man, John Stockton was really just dishing them dimes out there. A true point guard, but will not be top 5 for me in my all-time. I'm sorry. Now, everybody want to probably criticize it, but just because you pass the ball very well does not mean that you're the greatest, best point guard. Okay, you pass the ball very well. That's what's up. I don't need great passers. I need people that's going to get me buckets and play defense and do all that. And yeah, he probably played defense, but you were playing against scrubs. You've never had to guard Kyrie Irving. You've never had to guard Steph Curry. If he's ever had to play against talent like that, John Stockton's probably getting cooked. Let's just be real. He's playing against people that didn't dribble with their left hand, so yeah, he's probably a good defensive player then. But let him guard Kai. Kyrie is putting John Stockton in a blender, nigga. In a blender. Oklahoma City Thunder is the only team to have more steals than turnovers. 278 steals, which is the most in the NBA. And they have 269 turnovers, which is the second least in the NBA, which is pretty impressive. That's enough for them. We don't care. DeMar DeRozan. He scored 24,000 points, putting him currently becoming the 30th player in NBA history to reach that mark, and just the 8th player active to do so. So shout out to DeMar DeRozan for out there hooping, man. We love to see it, man. Love to see it. Not necessarily on the Kings, you feel me? Because they still cheeks. Even adding you, I feel like you wasted your career going there. You should have went to somebody like the Lakers, you feel me? That could have been a better team for you. But went to the Sacramento Kings. Now you're just wasting your talent there, buddy. But shout out to you for the 24,000 points, man. Inspirational. And then to the team that I said that you should have gone to, LeBron is out here shooting cheeks, man. Now, granted, this is a stat from week prior, you feel me? It is Wednesday, so he's had a few games probably to make some threes. But 20 missed threes, chat? 0 for 9, 0 for 4, 0 for 2, 0 for 5. LeBron hit that. He moved up on the all-time three-pointers list. He probably saw that and, like, that's inspirational, man. I'm really the GOAT shit at this, bro. He's like, I'm really on every list. Assists, rebounds, points, field goals, now threes. I'm moving up on the threes list. He's like, man, that's really inspirational, man. I need to go out there. They need to give me the ball. I need to start shooting threes. And he starts shooting threes. And that's what happens. 20 missed threes, man. So, LeBron, get back to getting to your game like DeMar DeRozan over here. Mid-ranges, layups, and then stretch it out a little bit for 1 or 2 threes, man. keep it that 0 for 2. That's what you need to be consistent at, bro. 0 for 4. That's your game right there. 2 to 4 threes a game, buddy. You don't need to be shooting 9 to 5 threes a game, my boy. Nah. Yeah, you're too old for that shit. Shout out to the Golden State Valkyries, man. I love the Golden State Valkyries because this is our WNBA team, y'all. The Bay Area been waiting for a WNBA team, and it's finally here. I don't stay in the Bay Area, but as y'all know, I support my Bay Area teams, my NorCal teams. Feel me? We NorCal, baby, up here. So we don't give a fuck about the SoCal teams. You feel me? We don't care about them. We don't like the Lakers. We don't like the Dodgers. We don't like the Rams. We don't like the Chargers. All them SoCal teams, fuck them. We NorCal up here, baby. NorCal, baby. So, we are happy to see we got our WNBA expansion team. I was tuning in live to see all the players. Now, I know these are a bunch of role players, and this is literally our first year. So, like I said in previous episodes, you guys got to go tune in to my WNBA rants because we will be doing some WNBA reviews once our girls get out there because we will be supporting our Valkyries. I already asked my girlfriend to give me some gear because I want some gear. But anyways, I know this is a bunch of role players, but I told you guys, 2 years tops, 3 years at most, we're gonna have a championship bringing to the Bay, bro. We're gonna be competing for a chip, bro. Just give us 2, 3 at max, bro. Because if we can get Juju Watkins, chat, maybe we get Paige this year, but maybe she might not fall that far because we have the 5th pick in each round of the WNBA draft, and I think there's only like 2 or 3 rounds around there. And Paige may not fall to the 5th pick. She's probably more than likely going to be the 1st pick because I don't know any other WNBA stars. But I know Juju is a sophomore, I believe, and they have to stay. They have to stay in college for all 4 years to be a senior for them to go to the W. So hopefully, if we tank a few years, you know, like, hey, I know we want to play good, we want to play hard, and I want us to, you know, have not necessarily like I want to have a double-digit 1 year, not necessarily maybe year 1 because expansion teams are kind of rough to begin and get on a roll, especially with new players playing together and stuff. But I hope to have double-digit wins by hopefully year 2. But if we can get Juju and tank for 2 years, chat, listen to me. By year 3, if we can get that number 1 overall pick and get Juju, bro, and to the Bay, that will be tough. That will be lit. I know she's a SoCal baby, and I know she probably likes it out there in LA and shit. But girl, Frisco, the Yay, even, and you can go travel back to SoCal if you want to. You feel me, Juju? You can even stay in SoCal, but just come hoop out here because that's where the better hoopers are at. And you can train with Steph Goat. You can train with Trae. You can train with all of with the dubs. You feel me? Like, come on, man. You'll go get. She's literally gonna become one of the best WNBA players of all time if she comes out here to the Yay. So I'm gonna be watching these Golden State Valkyries this upcoming year, and we're super excited to see what they can do, man. So yeah, we have to show some love to the WNBA teams, man, and we're gonna be watching everybody, but mostly just focused on the Golden State Valkyries next year. And last but not least, I want to talk about, I wish Killer Cam was here. It would be funny to see what he would name his dog after. But I saw this post and it was like, most popular dog athlete names. And I was like, man, I really, because we don't have a family pet because, well, we have family pets, but they're reptiles because my girlfriend and her mom are hyper allergic to animals as far as dogs and cats go. And the fur and stuff, so we can't have them. But I'm like, man, I've never really thought about it because my dogs that I've had prior to meeting my girlfriend, we've named them multiple names like Maggie and Bella and other names like that. My other dog named Pooch right now, but we never really named them an athlete, and it's just funny and hilarious to see some of these names because I for sure would name my dog Purdy, without a doubt. Excuse me, I'm naming my dog Wembanyama, or Wemby for short. And the most hilarious name I've seen on here was Caitlin Clark, but this dude, somebody named their dog Luka Doncic. Instead of Luka Doncic, Luka Doncic. I was like, that's smart, bruh. That is smart. Luka Doncic is smart, bruh. I like that. That's a W name. So we'll see in the future if we get some type of pet. And we'll figure out a name for it, because you know what name I'm naming it. Steph, look at Curry, Kurgoat. You feel me? So yeah. I wanted to give my prediction for the NBA Cup. As y'all know, the NBA Cup is this week. Yesterday, I can already cancel out the East side because I saw Milwaukee ended up pulling out that W, and then I saw the Knicks ended up pulling out that W as well. So Milwaukee and the Knicks. I mean, not the Knicks. I'm sorry. Milwaukee ended up pulling out the dub, and OKC ended up pulling out the W. So we moved both of them on to the next round. So we saw both of them, but I'm gonna give my further predictions on everybody else that I think who is gonna win. Today the Warriors play the Houston Rockets. We have 20 straight wins versus the Houston Rockets. I'm praying and hoping we lock in tonight, because just because we have 20 straight wins does not guarantee that we're going to have another win tonight. 100% does not. That, for me, does not move me at all. I understand that it does mean that we have a past history of beating them, but that does not mean tonight they can't beat us. You feel me? So I'm hoping we come locked in. Don't have that mindset of this is an easy game, because it's not. They are a top 3 seed right now in the West, and we are number 5. We have to take this game very seriously, just as much as any other game. You feel me? This is not going to be a cakewalk. But I see the Warriors still pulling that dub out tonight, and we will go play OKC in the semifinals in Vegas. And when we get there, we will have it will be a good game. I'm not going to say it's going to be a blowout. But I do see us pulling out the dub over OKC to get into the championship game for the very first time. And fighting for that cup. I do see us winning. I possibly see us winning by 5 or less points, because that's how of a competitive game it will be. We struggle in close game situations, so I necessarily don't want to see that happen, because the Warriors suck right now in close game situations because we can't score. And so I really want it to be a 5-point win or less versus OKC, because Shea just gets to the line, he gets foul calls, he gets shit like that, so it just slows the game down, lessens time, and less possessions. So I wouldn't want it to be that way, but that's what I feel like it's going to be that way. It's going to be a 5-point or less win. But if not, I'm hoping for a 10, possibly like a 12-point win on a good day, on a good scale. You know, I don't think it's necessarily going to happen, because OKC is a competitive team, but I see us getting to that championship game, and then I see the Knicks beating Atlanta and playing Milwaukee, and I see somehow, some way, I'm not even gonna lie, maybe call me a little biased, but I'm starting to like the New York Knicks a little bit, and I think they're gonna pull that dub out over the Milwaukee Bucks. Yeah, the Milwaukee has been playing well, but they've been playing lesser competition. They haven't been playing the top seeded teams, in my opinion, and so the Knicks, it would be a good competition for them to play against. And so Milwaukee versus Knicks, I see the Knicks pulling that out. Cat having a big game, because I don't think anybody on Milwaukee can really guard him. Brook Lopez and maybe Bobby Portis, but I don't think those dudes can guard him. And Giannis ain't finna guard Cat, because he has to do so much on the offensive end because they suck. So yeah, I see it being Golden State, New York, Golden State Warriors pulling out the first NBA Emirates Cup. It will be a challenge, though. It will be a challenge, because the New York Knicks have a stretch big in Cat, so we will have to have, probably will have Trae guarding him. Well, I don't know. Will we have Trae or Loon Tunes? Maybe TJD might guard him, because he is a stretch big, and they are a big team. But they got Jalen Brunson. They got a bunch of nice pieces with Josh Hart, OG and Anunoby's pretty good. Mikal Bridges. So they have a solid team, and they have multiple people that can score. So that kind of is going to challenge the Warriors a lot. I think our bench depth is honestly what we have going for us. So if we can get our bench depth rolling and get that going, then I can see us pulling out that W and winning our first NBA Cup. This episode, I appreciate you guys. I know it's a short one, but that's all I have for you guys. We're going to see you guys on the next one with the NFL recap.